the 2024 CDL Hazmat Practice Test. This test has 60 questions with explained answers to help you prepare for this test. Before we get started, don't forget to jumpstart that like button to keep this channel running. Now here is your CDL instructor to walk you through the questions.
Question 1. When stopping at a railroad crossing, how close to the nearest rail should a driver stop? A. 25 feet. B. 15 to 50 feet. C. 20 to 30 feet. D. 10 to 15 feet. The correct answer is B. 15 to 50 feet. Drivers should stop at railroads if their vehicle is placarded, carrying chlorine, or has cargo tanks. Trucks should stop 15 to 50 feet before the railroad tracks and never shift gears while crossing the tracks. Question 2. When inhalation hazard appears on the shipping papers, what placards are required? A. Poison gas. B. Flammable gas. C. Toxic gas. D. Liquid gas. The correct answer is A. Poison gas. In addition to other placards, poison inhalation hazard or poison gas placards are to be used. Poison gas can cause serious harm or death if not treated according to regulations. Question 3. What kind of tank is used to carry liquids and gases and include appurtenances, reinforcements, fittings, and closures? A. Vessel. B. Barge. C. Cargo. D. Fabricated. The correct answer is C. Cargo. Even though cargo tanks mainly transport liquids and gases, they may also be used for a solid. A cargo tank attached to a motor vehicle is loaded or unloaded without being removed from the vehicle. Question 4. Not following federal regulations related to hazardous materials can result in A. A warning. B. Loss of time. C. Fines. D. Fines and imprisonment. The correct answer is D. Fines and imprisonment. Following federal regulations help protect people and the environment. A driver could face up to 2 years of jail or $50,000 fine for illegally transporting hazardous material. Question 5. Who is responsible to know what permits are needed to haul a shipment of hazardous material? A. Carrier. B. The driver. C. The shipper. D. The receiver. The correct answer is B. The driver. States and counties may require drivers to obtain permits and follow certain routes when transporting hazardous material. It is the driver's responsibility to know the safest route to follow for the transport and what permits are needed. Question 6. Transporters with cargo heaters are forbidden to transport what class of hazardous materials? A. Class 1, 2.5. B. Class 6. C. Class 9. D. Class 1.3. Division 2.1. The correct answer is D. Class 1.3. Division 2.1. Many hazardous materials become more dangerous when exposed to heat. Do not load Class 1 explosives, Division 2.1, flammable gas, Class 3, flammable liquids in vehicles with cargo heaters, including automatic cargo heater, air conditioner units. Question 7. Federal regulations require that hazardous material employers train their employees at least once every blank. A. 180 days. B. 5 years. C. 1 year. D. 3 years. The correct answer is D. 3 years. Continued training is important to keep employees up to date and refresh information. Training must include familiarization, function-specific, safety, security awareness, in-depth security training, and driver training. Question 8. What is listed in column 2 of the Hazardous Materials table? A. What shipping modus the entry affects and shipping description? B. Material hazard class or division. C. Identification number for each shipping name. D. List proper shipping names and descriptions of regulated materials. The correct answer is D. List proper shipping names and descriptions of regulated materials. Column 2 of the Hazardous Material Table is to describe materials and proper shipping names. It lists the hazardous materials description and shipping names of materials that are designated as hazardous. Materials are in alphabetical order, so they can be found quickly. Question 9. What is true about stopped vehicle signals while transporting hazardous materials? A. Never use flares. B. Reflective triangles can be used. C. Red electric lights can be used. D. All the above. The correct answer is D. All the above. Flares can be dangerous around hazardous materials, especially flammable gas, flammable liquids, and explosives. Reflective triangles or red electric lights should be placed as follows. 1 signal, 100 feet. In front of the vehicle, 1 signal, 10 ft. Behind the vehicle, and 1 signal, 100 ft. Behind the vehicle, in the case of a breakdown. Question 10. What is a safe haven? A. An approved place to park unattended vehicles loaded with explosives. B. A rest area for vehicles with hazardous materials. C. An approved area to park vehicles with radioactive materials. D. A parking lot for vehicles carrying fuel. The correct answer is A. An approved place to park unattended vehicles loaded with explosives. Authorized safe havens are usually designated by local authorities and have been approved to leave vehicles unattended. If a vehicle transporting explosives does not park in a safe haven, it must be watched at all times. Question 11. When a vehicle is leaking hazardous material, the driver should blank. A. Move to an isolated area. B. Not move it any more than safety requires. C. Move it to a flat surface. D. Move 200 feet away from any buildings. The correct answer is B. Not move it any more than safety requires. Drivers should not move a vehicle if it is leaking hazardous material. If the vehicle is moved, it will cause a larger area to be contaminated and increase danger for the driver, others, and the environment. Question 12. The blank placard is a white triangle with a fish and an X through the fish. A. Toxic. B. Corrosive. C. Poison. D. Marine pollutant. The correct answer is D. Marine pollutant. Placards that are white triangles with X through the fish are used for any bulk package that is a pollutant of marine life. Question 13. What is true about loading containers of nitric acid? A. May be stacked to the ceiling. B. Should be loaded in the cabin. C. May be loaded on top of other materials. D. Must be stacked no more than 2 containers high. The correct answer is D. Must be stacked no more than 2 containers high. Nitric acid is a Class 8 hazardous material. When loading on a vehicle, it should never be stacked more than 2 containers high. Question 14. What must the shipping paper for hazardous material include? A. A description of each hazardous product. B. Page numbers. C. A shipper's certification. D. All the above. The correct answer is D. All the above. If the shipping paper has more than 1 page, the total number of pages must be listed on the first page. The shipper certificate must be signed by the shipper, stating the shipment was prepared according to the rules. Shipping papers must also list an emergency response telephone number. Question 15. On the hazardous materials table. What column shows the hazard warning labels shippers must put on packages of hazardous materials? A. Column 6. B. Column 1. C. Column 4. D. Column 5. The correct answer is A. Column 6. Column 6 identifies hazard warning labels with specific codes for shipping hazardous materials. Some products require use of more than 1 label due to more than 1 hazard being present. Question 16. Who is responsible for checking shipping papers for accuracy? A. Driver. B. Carrier. C. Shipper. D. All the above. The correct answer is D. All the above. It is important for everyone involved in the transportation of hazardous materials to be alert and conscientious, to always check paperwork and materials for inconsistencies and hazards. Do not assume someone else took care of an order accurately, and always be vigilant. Question 17. All except 1 are the responsibility of a driver transporting hazardous material. A. Make sure the shipper has identified, marked, and labeled the hazardous material properly. B. Placards his vehicle when loading, if required. C. Certify on the shipping papers that the shipment has been prepared according to the rules. D. Check for leaking packages. The correct answer is C. Certify on the shipping papers that the shipment has been prepared according to the rules. The shipper is responsible to certify that the shipment is in accordance with the HMR. The certification must be signed by a principal officer, partner, or employee of the shipper. Even though the shipper is responsible to certify shipping papers, the driver must confirm paperwork and packages are ready for delivery. Question 18. The business or person to whom a shipment is delivered is the A. Consignee, B. Division, C. Carrier, D. Receiver. The correct answer is A. Consignee. The consignee is the person who receives materials that are being transported. This person takes ownership and is financially responsible. The consignee is the one responsible for import duties and taxes. Question 19. An AW on the hazardous material table means A. The material has no restrictions. B. The material must be shipped by water. C. The material is only restricted when shipped by and/or water. D. The material has no restrictions when transported by air. The correct answer is C. The material is only restricted when shipped by and/or water. The letter A is used for hazardous material that pose a health and physical hazard or a harm to the environment. The letter W is used when restrictions are only applicable when transported by vessel or water. Question 20. Placards must be placed at least blank inches from other markers. A. 7. B. 9. C. 5. D. 3. The correct answer is D. 3. Placards must always be 3 inches away from any other markers. Advertisements should be far enough away to reduce the effectiveness of warning markers. Question 21. When a truck carrying explosives has an incident with another vehicle, the driver should blank. A. Place the explosive at least 200 feet away from the vehicle and occupied buildings. B. Use a fire extinguisher. C. Wait for emergency personnel. D. Cover explosives with tarp. The correct answer is A. Place the explosive at least 200 feet away from the vehicle and occupied buildings. Protection criteria is provided to minimize serious injury, loss of life, and damage of property. Placing explosives at least 200 FT away limits, exposures, and minimizes risks. Question 22. How often does a driver's hazmat endorsement need to be renewed? A. Every year. B. Every 3 years. C. Every 5 years. D. Before the expiration of a driver's CDL. The correct answer is D. Before the expiration of a driver's CDL. Drivers will receive a recertification notice approximately 7 months before the expiration of their CDL. Drivers will need to appear at a driver license center and show proof of citizenship or permanent residency and pass the Hazmat Knowledge Recertification Test. A DL-288 form must be submitted to the driver license center along with required fees. Question 23. Smoking is not allowed near what classes of hazardous materials? A. Class 1. B. Class 4. C. Class 7. D. All classes. The correct answer is D. All classes. Smoking should never occur around any class of hazardous materials. Smoking is especially dangerous around Class 1 explosives, Division 2.1, flammable gas, Class 4, flammable solids, Class 5 oxidizers, and Class 3 flammable liquids. Question 24. All except one are ways shippers warn drivers and others about material hazards. A. Hazard warning labels on packages. B. Emergency response information and placards. C. Proper shipping papers. D. Caution warning labels. The correct answer is D. Caution warning labels. Hazard warning labels and placards are used to identify the material being transported and their potential hazards. Placards are used to warn others and put on the outside of a vehicle and on bulk packages. Emergency response information must include the immediate hazard and other risks, and what immediate precautions to take in the event of an accident. Drivers must make sure emergency response information is easily accessible in the event of an accident. Question 25. In order to pass the test for hazardous material endorsement on a CDL, you must know A. How to identify hazardous materials. B. Safely load shipments. C. Properly placard your vehicle in accordance with the rules. D. All the above. The correct answer is D. All the above. In order to pass the hazardous material endorsement test, you must answer at least 24 questions correctly. All information needed to pass the test is found in the hazmat manual. Drivers must know how to recognize, handle, and transport hazardous materials. Question 26. What type of extinguisher is required for placarded vehicles? A. 10BC. B. 5A. C. D. AC. The correct answer is A. 10BC. Fire extinguishers for placarded vehicles must be UL certified and able to be used for 10 square feet of Class B fires. Checking fire extinguishers is an important part of a pre-trip inspection, so it can be ready in the event of an emergency. Fire extinguishers should be checked to make sure they are properly rated, filled to the green with an up-to-date inspection. Question 27. If a diamond-shaped hazard warning label does not fit on a package, the shipper may blank. A. Place the label on the folder containing other shipping information. B. Group multiple packages together with one label. C. Put the label on a tag securely attached to the package. D. Fold the label and secure it with clear shipping tape. The correct answer is C. Put the label on a tag securely attached to the package. Shippers should always place the correct warning labels on hazardous material packages. The most hazardous materials are required to have a diamond-shaped hazard label. If the label is too big for a package and placed on a tag, the shipper must make sure the tag is attached securely. Compressed gas cylinders is an example of a package that would need to have a tagged label. Question 28. All except one must be completed for a CDL with hazmat endorsement to be renewed. A. Pass the hazmat recertification knowledge test. B. Complete a state security threat assessment application. C. Pay fingerprint check. D. Submit a renewal application. The correct answer is B. Complete a state security threat assessment application. A federal, not state, security threat assessment application must be completed. Drivers must pass a written test about the regulations and requirements and a federal threat assessment application to receive clearance from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the Transportation Security Administration. Question 29. When the driver is not behind the wheel, where should shipping and emergency response papers be kept? A. Glove box. B. On the dash. C. Driver's door pouch or on the driver's seat. D. Middle console. The correct answer is C. Driver's door pouch or on the driver's seat. Hazardous material and shipping papers should be easily distinguished from other paperwork and must be easily recognized. In the event the driver becomes unconscious, it is important that emergency personnel can access emergency information quickly and easily. Question 30. Placards are blank-shaped. A. Triangle. B. Diamond. C. Circle. D. Square. The correct answer is B. Diamond. Placards are diamond-shaped and include information such as danger class number, danger symbol, and a colored background. Every package with hazardous material is required to have a placard. Question 31. When using placard, the driver does not need to know blank. A. Material being shipped. B. Hazard class. C. The manufacture date of the material. D. The amount of all the hazardous material. The correct answer is C. The manufacture date of the material. Regulations state that it is the shipper's responsibility to provide the driver with proper placards. The driver must confirm material being shipped, hazard class, and the amount of hazardous material, but does not need to know the manufacture date of the material being transported. Question 32. Battery fluid is listed under what class of hazardous material? A. 1, B. 4, C. 8, D. 9. The correct answer is C. 8. Battery fluid is hazardous Class 8 corrosives. The placard used for battery fluid is white and black with a picture of corrosive fluid on hand and pipe with the number code 2794. Battery fluid can cause eye damage, temporary loss of vision or blindness, skin irritation or burning. If inhaled, battery fluid can cause nose and throat irritation with coughing and shortness of breath. Question 33. The emergency response telephone number on the shipping papers are the responsibility of the blank. A. Driver, B. Shipper, C. Carrier, D. Receiver. The correct answer is B. Shipper. It is the shipper's responsibility to provide emergency response information that is accurate and consistent with the information on shipper papers and the material being transported. It is the responsibility of everyone involved in the transportation process to ensure all information is accurate. Question 34. What guidebook is used by emergency personnel as a reference on how to protect themselves and others from hazardous materials? A. Class Hazards Guidebook. B. DMV First Responders Guidebook. C. Emergency Response Guidebook. D. Hazardous Material Guidebook. The correct answer is C. Emergency Response Guidebook. The Emergency Response Guidebook is indexed by proper shipping name and hazardous materials identified number. It is vital that proper shipping name, ID number and label, and placards are correct. Question 35. Identification numbers used to identify hazardous materials have how many digits? A. 4, B. 3, C. 5, D. 2. The correct answer is A. 4. Hazardous material. 4-digit identification numbers identify dangerous goods and hazardous substances. Identification numbers should never be abbreviated on shipping papers. Question 36. What is not a professional driver's responsibility at the scene of an accident? A. Communicate with any media at the scene to ensure correct information is reported. B. Limit the spread of material, only if safe to do so. C. Provide emergency responders with the shipping papers and emergency response information. D. Keep people away from the scene. The correct answer is A. Communicate with any media at the scene to ensure correct information is reported. In the event of an accident, the first step is to isolate and evacuate people away from hazardous material. The driver should limit the spread of the material as long as it is safe to do so. The driver should make sure that emergency responders are provided information needed in the shipping pacers and emergency response information. The driver should not speak with the media and instead focus on keeping the scene safe. Question 37. How long does a carrier have to make a detailed written report after an incident? A. 24 hours. B. 30 days. C. 1 week. D. 48 hours. The correct answer is B. 30 days. A detailed written report should be made within 30 days of an incident. The report should provide fundamental information, any damages or injuries, affected individuals, identify witnesses, and the action taken. The carrier must include his name, address, phone number, and employer. Question 38. When transporting compressed gas, cylinders must blank. A. Be held upright or braced, laying flat down. B. In racks attached to the vehicle. C. In boxes that keep them from turning over. D. All the above. The correct answer is D. All the above. Platforms or cradles keep cylinders secure and in an upright position. Never drag or pull the cylinder horizontally. Cryogenic liquid is also included in the safety guidelines for transporting compressed gas. Question 39. The proper description of hazardous materials does not include blank? A. ID number. B. The name of the hazardous materials in italics. C. Hazard division or class. D. All the above. The correct answer is B. The name of the hazardous materials in italics. The basic description of hazardous materials include the identification number, the correct shipping name, the hazard class, and the packing group. This information is stated in the shipping paper in the correct order required. Question 40. Forbidden materials listed on the materials table blank. A. Pose too great a risk for some modes of transportation. B. Require 8 placards. C. Require special handling. D. Must be transported by ground. The correct answer is A. Pose too great a risk for some modes of transportation. A shipper is responsible to classify forbidden materials, and carriers should know when to look for when accepting the shipment for transportation. Forbidden materials could result in a catastrophic hazmat incident. Question 41. When does a symbol blank indicate materials may not be loaded, transported, or stored together in the same vehicle or stage facility? A. Highlighted. B. Italics. C. With an X. D. Both A and C. The correct answer is C. With an X. X is packing group I and is the highest degree of danger. An X indicates the materials marked may not be loaded, transported, or stored in the same vehicle or storage facility. Question 42. When transporting Division 1.1, 1.2, or 1.3 materials, how far away must the vehicle be parked from a bridge or tunnel? A. 300 feet. B. 500 feet. C. 200 feet. D. 100 feet. The correct answer is A. 300 feet. While transporting explosives, stay at least 5 feet away from bridges, tunnels, buildings, groups of people, or open fire. When parking a vehicle with explosives, someone must always watch the vehicle or park in a safe haven. Question 43. Who determines a product's hazard class and packing group? A. Carrier. B. Driver. C. Receiver. D. Shipper. The correct answer is D. Shipper. The shipper also determines the product's ID number before sending from one place to another. Even though it is the shipper's responsibility to determine product's ID number, the driver and receiver must also confirm all information is correct. Question 44. The minimum size of placards is blank. A. 8 inches. B. 4 inches. C. 10 3/4 inches. D. 7 1/2 inches. The correct answer is C. 10 3/4 inches. Placards must be 10 3/4 inches. If the placard is too large to fit on a hazardous material package, it must be placed on a tag and securely attached to the package. Question 45. What statement is not correct regarding placard placement? A. A total of 2 placards must appear on each side of the vehicle. B. Words and numbers. Placards need to be level and read from left to right. C. Kept clear of attachments or devices such as ladders or doors. D. Must be 3 inches away from any other markings. The correct answer is A. A total of 2 placards must appear on each side of the vehicle. Most often, 4 placards are required for a hazardous material shipment. A placard must appear on each side of the vehicle and must also appear on the front and back of the vehicle. The shipper is required to supply the driver with the placards with the required identification numbers. Question 46. When should tires be checked for proper inflation? A. Beginning of each trip. B. The end of the trip. C. Every time the vehicle is parked. D. A and C. The correct answer is D. A and C. Using a tire pressure gauge is the only acceptable way to check for proper inflation. Tires that do not have the correct pressure can deteriorate and become a hazard. Tire tread should also be checked to prevent a blowout or leak. Question 47. What is not true about the person watching the loading or unloading of hazardous material? A. They must be alert. B. They must know what type of hazardous materials are being loaded. C. They must be within 15 feet of the tank. D. They must know emergency procedures. The correct answer is C. They must be within 15 feet of the tank. A qualified person watching loading or unloading of hazardous material must be within 25 feet of the tank. The watcher must be focused, alert, and know the hazards of the materials being loaded. The watcher must also know emergency procedures in the case of an incident. Question 48. An example of a Class 6 hazardous material is blank. A. Propane. B. Potassium cyanide. C. Ammunition. D. Battery fluid. The correct answer is B. Potassium cyanide. The name for Class 6 hazardous material is poison, toxic material, infectious substances. Class 6 are classified as toxic substances. Materials under this code are liable to either cause death, serious injury, or harm to human health. The Class 6 placard is white with black lettering with a picture of a skull. Question 49. What should a transporter do if a leaking package is discovered? A. Put the package in another sealed package and add a new label. B. Notify the shipper to patch the leak, so it is safe to ship. C. Keep it separate from other packages. D. Refuse to transport the package. The correct answer is D. Refuse to transport the package. Leaking packages can put the driver and others in danger. If a driver discovers leaking hazardous material after it has been loaded, the driver must do one of the following: repair the damaged material and transport it to the nearest place for safe disposal. Place the damaged package in a salvage drum in transport to its destination, or return to the shipper. Store the damaged package until the final disposition can be made. Question 50. What is true about a portable tank? A. It cannot be removed from a vehicle. B. It is made to be more durable than other tanks. C. It can be removed from a vehicle. D. It is usually smaller than other tanks. The correct answer is C. It can be removed from a vehicle. Products are loaded and unloaded while a portable tank is off a vehicle. After the vehicle is loaded and unloaded, it is then attached to the vehicle for transportation. Question 51. How long must a transporter keep hazmat manifest? A. 3 months. B. 1 year. C. 3 years. D. 7 years. The correct answer is C. 3 years. The Hazmat Manifest was established by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and is designed to track hazardous waste from generation to disposal. The designated transporter must keep Hazmat Manifest for a period of 3 years from the date the hazardous waste was accepted by the initial transporter. Question 52. What special equipment is needed when transporting chlorine? A. Approved gas mask and emergency kit. B. A placard that displays the UN number for chlorine. C. Rubber boots. D. Chemical burn kit. The correct answer is A. Approved gas mask and emergency kit. Exposure to low levels of chlorine can cause irritation to eyes, nose, and throat. Higher level exposure can be dangerous and cause changes in breathing rate, coughing, and damage to the lungs. The gas mask and emergency kits can help protect from exposure and should be located in the vehicle and easily accessible. Question 53. What should you do if you discover a hazardous material leak or spill while transporting it on the highway? A. Immediately stop the vehicle, park it in a safe location, and notify authorities. B. Attempt to clean up the spill yourself. C. Continue driving until you reach your destination. D. Call your supervisor and wait for further instructions. The correct answer is A. Immediately stop the vehicle, park it in a safe location, and notify authorities. If you discover a hazardous material leak or spill while transporting it on the highway, immediately stop your vehicle in a safe location and notify authorities. Attempting to clean up the spill yourself is not recommended as it can be dangerous and cause further harm. Continuing to drive could also put you and others on the road at risk. Contacting your supervisor is important, but not your first priority in this situation. Question 54. Hazardous materials employers are required to keep record of training for their employees for blank days. A. 365 days. B. 30 days. C. 90 days. D. 60 days. The correct answer is C. 90 days. It is important for employers to keep detailed records of training to reduce and eliminate hazards for their employees. These records will be reviewed in an event of an incident. Question 55. When is it required to call the National Response Center? A. When someone is killed. B. There is property damage that exceeds $50,000. C. An injured person requires hospitalization. D. All the above. The correct answer is D. All the above. The National Response Center is staffed 24 hours a day and is a federal point of contact. All oil, chemical, biological, radiological discharges that exceed $50,000 in damages are required to be reported to the National Response Center. Question 56. What rules tell shippers how to package hazardous materials safely? A. Display rules. B. Carrier rules. C. Packaging rules. D. Containment rules. The correct answer is D. Containment rules. Containment rules are intended to protect the driver, those close to the driver, and the environment. It informs shippers how to package safely and drivers how to load, unload, and transport safely. Question 57. What class number hazardous material is helium? A. 2. B. 5. C. 1. D. 7. The correct answer is A. 2. Helium is a class 2 hazardous material. Some hazards of high-level exposure to helium are headache, dizziness, and lightheadedness to suffocation from lack of oxygen. Some other examples of Class 2 hazardous materials are propane and compressed fluorine. Question 58. What is an example of a Class 1 hazardous material? A. Propane. B. Gasoline. C. Ammunition. D. Uranium. The correct answer is C. Ammunition. Ammunition is a Class 1 explosive. Class 1 hazardous materials are explosives, devices, or chemicals that are designed to explode or combust. They are highly regulated due to the risks of damage and loss of life. Question 59. How many classes of hazardous materials are there? A. 5. B. 9. C. 11. D. 15. The correct answer is B. 9. Hazardous materials are separated into 9 different classes. Their specific hazardous properties are defined and have distinct regular requirements for packaging, markings, and labels. The 9 different classes of hazardous materials are 1. Explosives. 2. Gases. 3. Flammable liquid and combustible liquid. 4. Flammable solid, spontaneously combustible and dangerous when wet. 5. Oxidizers, organic peroxides. 6. Poison, toxic material, infectious substances. 7. Radioactive. 8. Corrosives. 9. Miscellaneous hazardous materials. Question 60. What does it mean when RQ is listed on shipping papers? A. Rejected quality. B. Required quality. C. Reportable quality. D. Refined quality. The correct answer is C. Reportable quality. In summary, when RQ is listed on shipping papers, it typically means that the quality of the shipment must be reported to relevant authorities or regulatory agencies as per specific regulations or guidelines.
Hope you enjoyed this video. If you still need more practice, then check out these videos or click the first link in the description to get your cheat sheet, which will help you pass your CDL exam on your first try.